Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another episode of Women Wednesday, and welcome to the new year. Happy 2025, January 1st, 2025 to all of you. I hope you all have a happy new year. But today I am sharing with you my journey into getting a suppressor. So 2025 is here. Some of y'all are probably looking forward to getting your first suppressor or whatever, and so you want to know the process of getting that suppressor and what it takes and all that. So I felt like today was a good day at the top of the year to show you how that works. Now, first and foremost, I want to say I'm not condoning the sale of suppressors. I'm not condoning or persuading you to buy a suppressor. I'm just showing you the process of how it works and what you need to do to legally own a suppressor in your state. Also, it differs from state to state, so make sure you do your own research about the state that you're in and your local gun laws and NFA laws so that you know that you're doing it right. But for the most part, this is how it works across many different states. Now, I do know some states are it is unlawful in some states and you just can't have a suppressor. So if that's your state, then this video probably not gonna be beneficial for you. So either way, about sometime back in December, let's see if I can back up and talk to y'all. There we go. So back in December, I purchased 3 suppressors. And so, actually, it was last year that I purchased these suppressors. Well, some issues was being had with my trust. And so, if you don't know already, the way that you can purchase suppressors is either through an individual, which means just you, or you can purchase it through a trust, meaning whoever's names are on this trust are able to use the suppressors legally. Last year, my husband and I went through a trust. We were having some issues with it. And so I started getting very impatient. Now that I'm making content, I was like, I need my suppressors. So I decided to go the individual route with these suppressors. And then later on, I'm going to throw them back into the trust. There's a bunch of ins and outs that goes through that too, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. So today I'm picking up 2 of the 3 because when I did them together back in December, about a week later, I got approved for 1. And it was kind of weird to me because it's like, how did you approve 1 and not all 3? And so I called ATF and they was just like, all 3 of them probably didn't go to the same person who approves them. That one that I got approved probably went to this person and the other 2 went to some other person. And that's just how the ATF works. It's kind of confusing and it's kind of annoying, honestly, but that's just how it works. And so I've got the approval that both of them are ready to go today. And so I'm heading into the gun range to get them. So I'm not going to show you the process of buying a suppressor because I've already bought mine, but I will show you the process of getting the approval, which will be the email that tells you it's approved, and then show you the pickup process. When you do buy your suppressor, you pick out the suppressor you want, you pay for the suppressor, whatever the suppressor costs, and then you also have to pay a $200 tax stamp to the ATF for having the suppressor. To each his own. I know some of y'all gonna be in the comments talking about how could anybody want to pay $200 for something like that. I don't know. To each his own. For me, I want the shush on my firearms. So you buy it, you pay for your $200 tax stamp, and then your suppressor will sit at your local gun range or wherever you're purchasing it from until the ATF approves and says you are allowed to have your suppressor. Yeah, I know. How can ATF tell me how am I allowed to have something that I paid for? I don't know. This is just how it works for now, and hopefully that changes. But that's what happens. And so you wait, and obviously over the last few years, the wait time has been astronomically long. Some people waited from a day to a year and a half for their suppressors. These past few months, back in 2024, the times did decrease. I know I got my suppressor. One of my suppressors came back in 4 days. I heard people say their suppressors came back in 24 hours. So it just depends on, you know, the time frame we're in. These ones, like I said, I did 3 at the same time, and then the first one came back a week later, and then these 2 have now come back, and it's been about 3 weeks. So it just depends. So we're going in here to pick up the suppressors and show you the process of how that works. All right, so I just signed in to get my suppressors. There is a line, so I'm waiting. But here are some of the suppressors you could own. And obviously they all range different prices. You got anything from 22 LR to 9mm to 7.62 by 39 to 30 cal to 5.56. Like any caliber that you shoot, they have a suppressor available. And obviously there are different brands. Just do your own research to find out what brands work. I'll just tell y'all right now, lately I've been using Silencer Co. I have 3 cans with Silencer Co. I have a YHM, a Yankee Hill manufacturing can, and then my husband has a Dead Air, so I have experience with quite a few. Alright, I just finished my paperwork. He's doing his part. And then here's my forms. I'm not going to show y'all that because it's got some information on it. But then you get your tax stamp forms in case the ATF wants to verify that you indeed have that suppressor. This is what you use as your proof. So he just went to get double checked on my paperwork. So that means he does the paperwork, he does his signature and everything, and then you go get another set of eyes to make sure he did everything right, because we're dealing with, you know, federal stuff, ATF, and so you want to make sure everything is right. And so now we just wait on the second person to say you're good to go, and I get to take both of my suppressors home. And just like that, I walk out with what belongs to me. Paperwork, suppressors in hand, taking them home, putting them on the guns that I've been so waiting to put them on. What I did forget to tell y'all is that I've been shooting these suppressors. Well, not shooting the suppressor, but shooting with the suppressor. Because whenever you buy a suppressor, you can shoot the suppressor at your local gun range. They allow you to shoot it, you know, get equipped with it, you know, get familiar with it, kind of feel and see if this is what you pay for. Because I actually don't know if you can return a suppressor. I don't think so. I don't know how that part works. I might have to do my own research there. But yeah, you can take it to your gun range and you can shoot it as many times as you want to. The only thing is, when you leave the gun range, you got to leave the suppressor. So it's almost like going to go visit your loved one in jail. Or, I don't want to be like, I don't want to be negative, but, you know, it's just like visiting someone in jail and they can't come home with you. They have to stay at the jail. Or visit someone in the hospital. They can't come home with you because they're not well yet. They haven't got the clearance to go home. That's what it's like when you buy your suppressor and you got to wait for it. So over the course of the 1.5 years or whatever it's been at this point, I've been able to shoot both of those. They are great, but now I get to take them home and put them on my guns and actually go outside and shoot them and not just shoot them inside. So that's how the process works. I know I didn't show y'all the paperwork side of it because I got all my personal information on there, and y'all don't need to see that, but that's just how it works. And you can be in and out just that quick. I mean, this is not the only place I've gotten a suppressor from, but I went to another gun store and the process was just as quick. So do your paperwork, check your suppressors, make sure they're like you saw when you first saw them, and walk out with what belongs to you. So again, for me, those two were about, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks, something like that is what those took. The guy just told me, who was helping me do my paperwork, he said the other day they had an approval in 4 minutes. Like, I've heard of 24 hours, but I've never heard of approval in minutes. And this one was specifically 4 minutes. And he said, like, you know, he was doing his clearance. It's like, hey, the guy was like, hey, I just got an approval. And the range officer was like, no, you always get an approval. No, you always get a submitted / process email first to say that you've submitted for a suppressor. He was like, no, this doesn't say submitted, it says approved. And so he got like 3 or 4 of them to double check to make sure it was right. And sure enough, this guy got his suppressor in 4 minutes. ATF, please explain the algorithm, the analytics. Like, what is it? How do we know? Because quite frankly, do y'all even know what y'all doing? Because it's not making sense. We went from a 1.5 wait, year average to lately in the last 4 or 5 months, probably like anywhere from 24 hours to a couple weeks to a recent one, 4 minutes. Like, the math ain't mathing. So either way, y'all, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I'm going to give me something to eat. I will show y'all my suppressors on my guns when I get home, and let y'all see what that looks like, because ain't nothing like going to get your suppressor after it's been approved and taking it home and putting it on the main piece. So I'll show y'all when I get home. All right, y'all, we have made it home, and here are the 2 suppressors that I picked up today. This one is called the Warlock 22. I don't want to show you the front because I got my serial number on it, but this is the Warlock 22, meaning that it is capable to fire 22 long rifles through it. And then we have the silencer code, that was by Silencer Code as well. Then we have the Omega 9K that is able to cycle 9mm through it. And so that looks like. And I'm gonna put it on my PTR. So I'm contemplating actually whether I want to put the Omega 9K on the PTR or find another suppressor for that one. I'm still debating, but the 22 Warlock right here will go on my FN 502, which is chambered, as you can see right there, in 22 long rifle. So let me put these on so y'all can see what they look like. All right, I also want to show y'all that these are empty, no mag, visually check. All right, and this is the Warlock 22 on the 502 by FN, and it shoots really good. I've shot this before, and it's just like pew 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 pew, almost like a BB gun. And then we have the Omega 9K. Again, this is empty, no mag. Boat is open, nothing in the chamber. This one has the Omega 9K on there. A little shorty, but it does a decent job of suppressing the action. So happy to have both of these in my collection now, and they just make a very, very pleasant shoot whenever you put suppressors on your guns, because it just kind of mitigates the recoil a little bit, but it's super quiet. Not movie quiet like they tell you, because that ain't true, but it is pretty quiet. So there it is, guys. That's how you obtain a suppressor, and that's your 2025 goal for this year. Then, make sure you do all the right steps, do your research, make sure you can legally own a suppressor before even wasting your time going to pick out one and buy one. So make sure you can legally own it, and then know the rules in your area or in your state as to how to obtain a suppressor. So until next time, stay armed, stay safe, and stay vigilant. Peace.